Welcome to Project Comedy, a podcast by and for military veterans doing stand-up comedy, turning military banter into quality stand-up comedy acts. We might be veterans, but our comedy aims to get everybody laughing. If there's one subject that can turn people right off, it's politics. But there's a huge market for political humour and satire. No one is saying you have to write only political humour, but when we talk about connection, one thing that connects us all is the way that politics impacts our daily life. From local politics and potholes, to the budget and the cost of living crisis, to international affairs where we see constant conflicts that we should or should not get involved with. So some political content can connect you to your audience, but that doesn't mean you have to be deeply political or follow a set party. Your knowledge of the political landscape doesn't have to be huge. It's just how you approach the subject. So that's what we're going to do in this episode. We're going to talk politics at a surface level by being ridiculous. We're going to take it in turns, pretending to be the Prime Minister for the day, and propose at least two policies we'd introduce overnight. One serious and one downright stupid. And that'll link us into the real world of politics that we live in. To aid us on this dumbed-down version of Newsnight, I'm joined by Gabriel Murphy, a man whose idea of political justice is watching ministers that displease him get their brains rearranged in an MMA octagon. Sean Morris, a man about as political as a takeaway pizza. And if you don't think that's political, one question. Does pineapple belong on a pizza? And I'm Jay Saunders. Politics is my middle name. In fact, I wish it was. It's far less embarrassing than my actual middle name. Welcome, folks. How the hell are you?
I'm full of intrigue now. What's your fucking middle name?
Let's see if we can reveal it slowly during the episode. I will point out that I've got a Welsh middle name, spelt the Welsh way. It's deeply, deeply embarrassing. Politics, does it float your boat? Is it something that disinterests you, occasionally grabs your interest?
Well, I'm going to start off the politics episode by saying pizza's fucking disgusting. So whether you have pineapple in it or not doesn't fucking matter. I'm going to sit on this political hill and die on it. Good luck having anything happen on the rest of this podcast.
And that's the depth of your political knowledge and interest, is it?
Zero fucks given.
How about you, Gabe?
I was never into it until this big shower of shite happened.
When you say shower of shite, I thought you would. When you say shower of shite, you talk about Project Comedy, just the podcast, or just being in the same room as us two?
No, the political development that we are in these days.
So yeah, the current world of government and politics now.
Yeah, I kind of saw it coming though. You know, when we all, well, you lot all jumped out the European Union, because I was living over in Ireland at the time. And I was like, it's never going to happen.
I thought you were political, Gabe. I thought you worked for the IRA before the British Army.
They're not political. They're an army. You're talking about Sinn Féin.
Do I know politics? Do I know the difference? Oh, dear.
It was the big thing all the way through the 70s and 80s, wasn't it? You know, the spokesman from the IRA's political wing, Sinn Féin, said, but completely forgot to mention the fact that Sinn Féin is a legitimate party in the Republic. You know, the amount of coverage we actually got in the rest of the UK to what Irish politics is laughable. I love watching some of our senior ministers and politicians have no idea about Irish politics, and it's our near neighbour. It does tickle me massively.
So as everybody can tell, Jay isn't that interested in politics, not remotely.
I got to admit, I am a bit of a political animal. I won't say that I actually side with any one political party, but I've seen it impact my daily life so much. I do take an interest in it. For a period, I was working out of the Cabinet Office, so I've seen the UK government close and personal on how they actually work, and I think it's a bit shocking. But then when you see how politics does affect stupid things that you want to work right in your life, politics makes a difference. And I don't think many people realise that local politics is probably far more important to most people than national politics. Because if you're worried about your NHS, your public transport, potholes in the street, access to a library, none of that's done at Westminster. That's all done by your local politicians, and local politics doesn't seem to get the attention it deserves or the interest it gets. We all complain about local services and what have you, but you've got too many people that only vote at national elections rather than local elections, where it would actually make the difference.
But who gives them the money as a council?
Absolutely, that eventually comes from national. But if you've got a disorganized local, how can they actually be putting forward the relevant arguments to actually get the right kind of money in? I mean, if you're writing a proposal and you're a biff, you've only been voted because 62 people in your local town know you. How are you going to write a proposal that a government minister is going to suddenly go, oh, that's worthwhile funding, rather than, oh, Joe Bloggs from Fareham would like £7,000 so I can put a swing up in my kid's garden. It's anyway. Yes, politics does amuse me. It does interest me. Are there any political comedians and what have you that float your boat, or has anybody done a routine about politics that's got you? That's funny. It's got me interested.
I wouldn't know anyone who's deeply political as such, but I think the political comedy is just right in itself. The last couple of years. Oh, I'd say you're always,
especially that well-timed Brianna Gay joke. Absolutely peak comedy, that.
Oh, Jesus Christ. How did Sunak get away with that?
Oh, fucking hell.
If I chucked a couple of comedians and shows, do they float your boat? So my classic two that I'd chuck out would be Paul Merton and Ian Hislop doing Have I Got News for You?
Do you like Ian Hislop?
I mean, he's a journalist first, more of a satirist because of the work he does on Private Eye, but he's a very, very serious journalist. But he knows how to bring the humour in. And when he's partnered with Ian Hislop, I think that makes politics really accessible to every man, just watching that for half an hour on the BBC.
Would you class Russell Howard? Because he does quite a lot of political stuff.
I would call him a political comedian. He knows how to bounce between politics on his what used to be BBC Two, now a Sky One comedy. But he does bounce between politics and the observational, which I think is what's his great appeal. He can go from something as ridiculous as his brother wearing too tight shorts to what is wrong with the current political landscape and policies. So, yeah, I would call him very political. Nish Kumar?
Good.
I know Nish is quite controversial because nearly everything he does is political. And for some people, it can be too much.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of people who just go on about the political stuff, like things like have I got news for you?
Yep,
can be a little bit much because it's just that. Whereas like Mock the Week, even though that is like really political based, it still kind of like divvies around to different things, different variants of the political side of life.
To be fair, I quite enjoyed Have I Got News for You? A lot of the older stuff anyway. But that's more because they got like a politician on. The politician knows that they're going to get ripped the piss out of and just go nuts, The Nigel Farage one, quite a prominent one, which was really funny. Of Ian Hislop just chewing into him, just because that was his job, But it wasn't, I didn't really pay so much to the politics as I paid attention to the roasting of said, politician / presenter.
And of course, there's the program that was a gateway for so many comedians making it big on TV. One that Jay Sodagar, our mentor and friend that used to write for, Mock the Week. Now, that is nothing but current affairs political comedy. Unfortunately, the program shut down. And I ended up listening to a podcast called The Rest is Entertainment. What's the name of the fellow that used to have all the questions on Pointless? Richard Osmond?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. He does this podcast called The Rest is Entertainment. And he was asked the question, why did Mock the Week shut down? And he just went, it's too expensive. Because you cannot record several episodes in one go. So something like Cats Does Countdown, you can record 6 episodes in a day. Mock the Week, you have to record it every Tuesday night. So you need a studio and you can't bank it up. So it just ended up proving too expensive for that panel show to happen. It's why QI is always going to be so popular. You can record 6 episodes in a day. But it was a great gateway for getting comedians known to the British public by being on that show and actually being able to write something about what's happened at that time.
And speaking of QI, Sandy Toksvig is an absolute beast.
She is. That
She's
woman
great.
cracks me up. Absolutely cracks me up. I was really nervous who was going to take over from Stephen Fry.
Hey, actually, there's hope for you yet, guy. Yet, Jay, should I say? There's hope for you yet. Sandy Toksvig ended up marrying her psychologist, so you could get lucky here, buddy.
Yeah, well, and at time of recording, I meet my new psychologist tomorrow, so I'll let you know.
Good luck.
Hopefully, she's not a regular listener to this podcast. I'm sure she isn't, but we'll see how we get on. Right, who would like to go forward with their policy first? And we've got to guess whether it's a serious policy or a ridiculous policy, and see how it would sit into the world.
I will.
Go on then, Gabe. Go on, Gabe. I want to know what your first policy is.
My first policy is the public get to decide on whether members of parliament deserve a pay rise or not.
I'm instantly then turning around going, that's your serious policy. It has to be serious because for those that are unaware, there's an alleged independent panel that decides on MPs and ministers' pay rises every year. Since that panel was founded, it has never not awarded a pay rise above inflation. And strangely enough, everybody on that panel has worked in the palaces of Westminster. How the fun are they allowed to do that and then turn around and say nurses don't deserve a pay rise? I just don't, sickening.
I just don't get how someone can go like that. Do I deserve a pay rise? Do you know what? I think I do. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm having a pay rise.
I think I'm right in saying that the basic rate of pay for an MP, let's forget about their expenses, their second homes and what have you, just to be a backbencher. So somebody that's not actually working for the government as a minister starts at somewhere between £82,000 and £85,000 per year.
So fucking real.
And then they've got the nerve to turn around and go, we can't afford to raise the minimum wage.
Yeah, we need more. We need more money. You poor people can get fucked.
There is a lot of humor that you can end up playing with that. It's sort of like if you compared and contrasted a politician's life to the working public. The vast majority of these MPs have got ridiculous numbers of secondary jobs. Look at Rishi Sunak. He's nearly as rich as the pigging queen.
He's richer than the king. He's richer than the king.
Is he richer than the king? I know his family is. I thought his personal wealth was just behind it, because of course his wife is 6-7 times more wealthy than he is.
That's a fucking dodge, that isn't it? I'm not rich, man.
Why do you want £150,000 a year job when your missus is raking that much money in? I forget the name of the young lady. She was the youngest politician in the House from the SNP, Scottish Nationalist Party, and she's decided to step down. And she was talking about one of the interviews. She was talking to various MPs, and they told her within her first month that if she hadn't become a millionaire by the end of her first term, she had done her job wrong. And these were backbench MPs saying, no, if you've not made $1 million by the time you finished your first 4 years in government, you've done it wrong. And I'm there going, that's why I love your policy, mate, in the fact that who the hell judges the accountable? Who decides? Sean, you're just sat there almost nodding off into the distance. Does this relate to you in any way, shape or form?
I'll be honest, I haven't really thought of any policies, so I was just trying to write them down so I don't forget. You know, classic PTSD brain. It'll be there. I'll have a great idea, and it's fucking gone. As soon as you ask me the question, I'll be like, no.
Well, but more to the point, when you hear the discussion Gabe and I have just had about the general public should be consulted on and get the final say on MPs' pay rises, does that strike you as useful? Why the fuck hasn't it happened?
No, because I've met the general public and they're all a bunch of fucking idiots. So,
oh, come on. We're not good. And I know our American viewers are going to hate us for it, but we're not as bad as Americans.
right, I didn't ask for the colonists' opinion. All right, I didn't fucking ask for that.
When I want their opinion, I'll give it
the
to
former
them.
colonies.
What do you mean former? They're still colonists.
When I
Just
want their
sassy ones.
opinion, I'll give it them.
Yeah. I'll dictate what their fucking opinion is. Oh, dear.
I mean, could you, Gabe, see is that something you could play with as a skit within a comedy routine?
Hey, I could definitely use it as a bit, but it is a genuine question that I'd love to ask someone like Keir Starmer or something like that. Like, you know, is there any particular reason why you judge whether you deserve a pay rise or not? Because I fucking think I deserve a pay rise.
Because I think it would be amazing.
Why can't I do
comedy sketch? I think it'd be amazing comedy sketch if you compared it to, they're getting these pay rises because they're MPs. Compare that to what most of us go through. So, I mean, all right, boss, I need a pay rise, cost of living's going up, blah, blah, blah. And the first thing they're going to turn around and goes, performance-related pay. What are you doing to bring more money into the business? Why is it? Hold on a second. MPs aren't held to the same accountability. We've had how many economic crashes since 2008? But they're still guaranteed a pay rise? What the crap is going on?
Or, being caught lying, or racist conduct, or misogyny, or bullying in the workplace.
I mean, you could do a beautiful HR.
Well, you lose your post, but you can still work in government. You just have to work down over there. No, that's a sackable offence, you fucking clowns.
Yeah, you're no longer earning £95,000 a year. You're earning 82. You fucking pauper.
Oh, how will I go on my 5th holiday?
No, fuck no.
You could write a beautiful sketch about an MP going into the newly created human resources department and they're asking for a pay rise and they sit down and read out their review. Well, you're not doing too bad. We've only had 16 racist tweets from you in the last 2 weeks. So then we'll call that average.
I guess it's better than what Phil used to do, or Charles. So, you know.
A former MP now becomes a brickie. Hey, fella, I'm not doing this for like fucking.
We need to do a reality TV show where you get MPs out to do a normal day's worth of work for like a council or something. Mate, what fucking chaos that would be.
Shall I go for one of my policies then, guys?
Fucking go on then.
Do we have enough time this evening? Just curious.
I think so. So mine is something that's very close to my heart. It's about the NHS. It's about the obesity epidemic we have in the country, and it's something we've got to do about. So I'd like to introduce overnight the policy that all fast food joints will now have a weighbridge set out in front of their steps, and you can only get in through the door to the takeaway joints if you fall under a set BMI. So if you're a fat knacker, you cannot be eating chips every fucking night.
I would like to point out this policy is quite viable because I believe in Singapore, certain all-you-can-eat restaurants have like think of like metal detectors, but they're not metal detectors, just made out of wood. And basically, member of staff stands there, and if you can fit through it, you get to pay that price. If you fit through the bigger hole, you pay more.
Flip it on its head. Flip it on its head. There's a place in Vegas that sells the heart attack burger, and you're only allowed to buy the heart attack burger if you are clinically obese. It is absolutely encouraged that you have to be the fattest knacker in Vegas to eat this burger. It's just
suppose that's how they get around the whole, assisted suicide stuff. So,
It's look, obviously that's one of my silly policies, but if they keep on trying to tell us that healthy eating is something we should be taking seriously, fuck off with your 5 a day. Fuck off with your I'm going to reduce the price of a Swede by 7p. It's not going to make any difference. Do a policy that's going to help people, not this I'm going to stick labels on ready meals from Iceland, because that's all that mothers can fucking afford to buy. Can we have a real policy that lets people eat properly, not find themselves going to a food bank where they're only allowed 1 can of protein in 7 days? Yeah, we've got ridiculous policies, so I'll make an even more ridiculous policy for it.
I love how they're saying, like, oh, yeah, you've got to really look after your nutrition. Apart from kids in school, you're not allowed to eat. Got to fucking sort yourselves out.
Bloody daft, isn't it? I mean,
it's just a way of stunting brain development, so they can't think for themselves. Conspiracy theory.
You see, that's sometimes where politics works, because we wouldn't have ended up with the campaign for better school meals if we didn't have the likes of Jamie Oliver actually exposing it on TV. Turkey Twizzlers, all that stuff. It took a celebrity to expose political lack of will and investment that's letting our kids down so bloody badly. It's like the thing we've just recently had about the post office sub postmasters and what have you. The only reason politicians got involved, it was because of a drama. It was because of entertainment. It's not becoming relevant enough to the working man on the street. It's not being exposed as well. That's why I'm quite willing to tell a joke like that in my set, trying to make awareness of no. The reason I'm saying that is because look at our healthy eating policies for the country. Yes, we should be eating healthily because it's a burden on the NHS, but you're not letting people have enough money for it. Your priority is in the wrong things. Come down to our level and see what the actual food you can afford to buy on income support is, because it sure as hell ain't asparagus and hollandaise sauce.
You know what they get the kids doing in Japan? When they're in school, like so every year in school has a job to do before lunchtime. So like one of them will go out and serve, the other ones will come out and wash up, and the highest level of that school like helps cook and stuff. And they obviously have the kitchen staff there just to make sure that everyone's doing it properly. But it teaches them all that they have to go out, they have to cook, they have to clean. You have to look after everything. Yeah.
I think rather than doing the stupid stuff we do today of, what do they call it? Home economics. I enjoyed home economics when I went to school because we actually did some cooking. We did a bit of mending and bits and pieces. But these days, they don't do that.
How many E's are in economics?
Economics.
So you just must say it with 2 E's.
Economics. Economy. It's
because it scares him, Gabe.
Yes, I'm scared of my own personal finances, so I'm going to go economics.
He's just going back to the 90s with the shaman. He's good.
He's 90s, baby.
He's ebony.
Go on then. So we'll throw it to the least political animal in the room. I'm not sure if that was scared of politics or somebody actually needs to go to the loo at the moment. But Sean,
sorry, I'm just going to flex this political muscle. I don't have one. But I don't have muscles, political or real. So I think that we should bring back the British Empire. We should reinstate the British Empire because this country is clearly lacking direction. So we've got to do well. Look. Russia's reinstating the Soviet Union. If you listen to state media, it's going really well. So we need to reinstate the British Empire, right? And basically how we're going to do it, we're obviously going to start grabbing up those countries that seem to be fighting, like classically how we used to do it, right? Let's go grab a little bit of Africa over here. We'll go grab a little bit of this over here. Make sure to grab all the gold and jewels. See, thereby prompting the economy, boosting the economy. They're nice and strong. And then we need to start gathering these people up. We need to start getting them into camps so that we can then, push all these minorities into camps. And that way we'll be able to teach them English and home cooking and how to take care of themselves. What else did you think I was going to say, you sick fucks? And then we need to obviously, streamline the system a little bit. We need to get just kind of one head honcho in charge because, all this political stuff is so diverse and there's too many cooks in the kitchen. So we need to streamline it. And the way we can do it, ladies and gentlemen, is with a putsch.
With a go. You're going to have to explain this one to me.
The Munich putsch. We're going to do the take over. A march to take over. Like the great Adolf Hitler once did in Munich. Wait.
Oh my God! Hold on a second. So, right, let me see if
that's what all of that was leading up to. You know that, right? All of that was leading up to essentially reinstating the Fourth Reich.
So you're actually saying that your policy basically boils down to its British superiority, a re-establishment of the Fifth Reich under the Crown, and Britain needs more slaves.
But what's really good about the British Empire? I said to reinstate the British Empire. If you become a servant under the British Empire, i.e., a member of the British Empire, doesn't matter your skin, your race, nothing. You are seen as a citizen of the British Empire. You're not seen as British or Nigerian or British Indian. You are seen as a citizen of the British Empire. Therefore, we will have fixed racism, and therefore, see, it's a great policy.
Yeah, I can see that working because racism doesn't work in any other countries. I just see two former members of the empire instantly uniting over it, that being Pakistan and India. They're instantly going to fall on side and just go, do you know what? All the history we've had, it's all over and done with. God save the king. It's going to be the simplest answer.
When I steamroll over them with our fine British tanks, tea and moustaches, we will be absolutely fucking fine. We won't be arguing, all right? I'm just saying. Because, we have a totally functional and really useful military. Just saying.
Do you know what the really ironic thing about this is?
So could you tell if that was serious or not? Yes.
We will leave that to the listeners to decide. Listeners, please vote. Was the new Fifth Reich British Empire a serious suggestion by Sean Morris?
I'm so going to get on a list now for domestic terrorism. You guys won't see or hear from me for the next forever.
The total irony on it was about 10 years ago. I think it was about 10 years ago, maybe a little bit longer. I think it could have been during the coalition government we had. Somebody came up with a crazy idea that's not dissimilar to what you're saying, but not quite as extreme. Somebody turned round and stated, rather than leaving the European Union, why don't we make the European Union work in our favour and turn the Commonwealth into a political union? So you actually have a political union with the likes of Canada, Singapore, Hong Kong, all of those former places, get them closer working together rather than just, a League of Nations that used to be under the British flag. Actually,
we couldn't include Hong Kong because, that's China now. It's not really Hong Kong anymore.
Many of them with dual passports.
I'm just saying this because Gabe's iPad is clearly Chinese and listening in all of our conversation with its weird zoom in, zoom out feature.
That wonderful Uncle Nigel joke in his stage routine. It's like, you from China? Good country. Anybody from Taiwan? Not a real country. My phone is Huawei. They're listening.
For the listeners that don't know, Gabe's iPad that he's using does a lot of zoom in, zoom out features and tracks him around the room. So, we don't know how that works, but
it's not doing it today.
I was just about to say, Gabe, I think the Chinese have actually turned on your channel because you're not being tracked anymore. They're recording this conversation now. It's not just Project Comedy recording this. It's actually all of us.
You just talked, yeah. You just talked about fucking potatoes and shit.
Quick, sorry, we have to fall back into the good old ni hao, yeah. Shishir.
But I can see, that policy of yours, as daft as it is, you could turn that into a...
Yes, I'm glad you agree. Join me on my Marxist march.
But I could see you turning that into a lovely routine, especially with your character and the way your stage presence is going to work, because it's so clearly insane and what have you. It's who in the audience would take it serious. I'd
That's not my
love you.
character. That's just me.
I'd love to see you do that to a mixed audience. It would be, it'd be like the first time that I ended up doing. Why the fuck have they given me a golden retriever doing blackface and my front row was black? And everybody looked at the guys in the front row going, is that fucking funny? They didn't know if they had permission to laugh. And when they started howling, it was like, oh, thank Christ, I don't have to be British about it. It's a funny joke. You could really play with that and sort of like test your audience and get them playing with you.
Considering that I made that up in about 20 seconds, although that may or may not have some very firm beliefs behind it.
I do need to ask for a review though. Can I turn round to our only European in the room, from a nation that was once subject to the British Crown, how he feels about his homeland being conquered by the British again?
Well, the fact is that you're as a bunch of boring cons, to be honest with you. And I'm not being funny, but we're fucking flexing your arms on top of you.
I don't think Ireland was under the British Empire. I don't think that was part of it.
Oh, hell, it used to be part of the mainland. So, yeah, of course it was subject to the British Empire. There's a horror, mate, there's a little bit of history in there. I'll just come out with the words potato famine and you suddenly realise what the British Empire did to Ireland. It's not, the first IRA were a proper IRA. They were actually fighting a noble fucking cause.
The whole reason why you've got things like the Blarney talk. Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
Nope.
So it means that you're silver-tongued and all that sort of stuff. And apparently what it was, I think it was Queen Victoria.
Probably.
She was trying to collect all the taxes from the people of Cork, which is where the Blarney Stone is. And we kept on giving shit excuses about why we couldn't pay the taxes. And it got that bad. Apparently, she even turned around and said, I've had enough of that Blarney talk. Go down and get the taxes, and kept on fucking this up.
Well, here's this then for historical politics, because I did not know that, and I actually genuinely found that fucking fascinating. So that's interesting. But, and I also didn't know that, it was under the British Empire. I thought it just remained neutral because we couldn't conquer it in the, when Oliver Cromwell started invading. That's why we have Northern Ireland and not just Ireland.
Don't mention Cromwell in Ireland. Jesus Christ.
So, but a good historical politics, and you're saying about taxes and avoiding the tax, the Americans went to war over the tax, and look who's laughing now, bitches. All you do is pay tax for everything.
Oh my God, I love the Americans for that.
Uncle Sam loves him some taxes.
Yeah, no representation without taxation. And then suddenly you go into a shop in America, it says $1.50, you take it to the till, and you're now paying $1.85. What the fuck is wrong with this economy?
Oh, that's before you have to tip, which is a 20%. So you're basically paying $2.15.
Yeah, the country that invented the minimum wage and then doesn't give it to the people that need the money the most. Brilliant! What a brilliant social system. Absolutely.
Yeah, but then let's be real. American politics is fucking cooked anyway.
Yeah.
Which is why what leads me to my actual political opinion, which is all politicians are liars, and you're basically voting for whoever's going to lie to you the least. Good luck with that.
You reminded me of a line my late father once said to me, and I absolutely adore. He said, somebody that can find you a simple answer to a complicated problem is either a liar, a moron, or a politician. And it's such a beautiful... How do we solve the economy? Oh, brilliant. We take 2p off of national insurance. What the fuck? That doesn't fix fucking anything. It's politicians are the ultimate at giving you simple answers to complex problems. I wish we had some more politicians out there that were actually willing to give us honest answers to something, because they get my vote more. Before we go into a break,
some of the older boys were pretty good.
Well, this is what I was going to go into. Are there any politicians over time that have impressed you? Because I can instantly think of one that I wish had been prime minister and had taken us to war. But are there any politicians that you've just struck at, either current or past? You go, do you know what? I've got some admiration for that bloke or that lady. Go for your life.
Gary Adams.
No, we really are going to get banned on this episode, aren't we?
Probably. I've liked Keir Starmer. A load of people say they don't like him and stuff, but I've really liked him because I personally can't see a fella who was in charge of prosecutions doing anything fucking dodgy or not by the book.
You've linked it into me, mate. I mean, I'm not going to say he's my favourite politician, but my God, I've got some respect for the guy for two reasons. Number one, when he instantly said, if I'm found to have broken any of the COVID rules, I will step down.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is a bloke that used to run public prosecutions. He knew full and freaking well before making that statement he was not going to be found guilty of breaching any. That was just a very, very clever piece. And it's sort of like, you don't know who you're messing with. The second time was when we end up with the Bria joke, so-called joke, and you could genuinely see human anger on how he actually kept as composed as he did in the house. It's sort of like, oh shit, I'm actually dealing with a human being. The
only thing that I'd have said for him to do there is when he said, like, oh, do you want to apologize? And he obviously didn't. He should have turned around and went, I apologize on behalf of that fucking knobhead over there.
Unfortunately, because of the rules of the house, he's not allowed to do that. You are not allowed in the house to speak on behalf of another member of the house. That's why all addresses are made through the speaker. It's to try and take personality away from the House of Commons. If you want to see personality done to droves in any House chamber, watch the Irish chamber. It's absolutely stunning. Jesus Christ, they go for the jugular. And the Australian House, it's literally, we go for the jugular on personality. You don't tend to see it anywhere near as close because of the House rules in the House of Commons. Yeah. But he could have turned around and said, I agree, he could have turned around and gone, I will ask the Prime Minister to apologise for that. But personally, I would like to apologise to you for it. He could have got more power. But actually, in the heat of the moment, you could see how riled he was. No, I get that one. How about you, Sean? Is there any politician, past or present, that's you've gone, do you know what? Not bad.
Probably not socially acceptable, but his first name was Adolf. Just an obscure.
Oh, Jesus, here we go. We've got down the comedy cul-de-sac within 30 seconds.
I mean, I was being serious, but that's okay. And then
oh, fuck.
Hey, he fixed hyperinflation. I don't see what the problem was.
Jesus Christ, mate.
He did. Have a look. He fixed hyperinflation in Germany.
And Mussolini got the trains to run on time.
He created the Deutschmark, fixed hyperinflation, saved a whole bunch of people, and then went fucking nuts. But, like, he, fixed the Autobahn, hit the youth, But no, the other one that I would say it's probably going to be Lord Buckethead running against Theresa May in Maidenhead.
Oh, that was brilliant.
Which is only down the road.
Joyous. That was absolutely.
I mean, he only got 249 votes, but go on, Lord Buckethead.
But that's
prior to that, the only political party I really sort of had an interest in was the good old. It's defunct now, but the good old Monster Raving Loony Party.
They would see. That's one of the joys of British politics, that those people are allowed to stand.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's some of their policies ended up turning into reality.
The Monster Raving Party ones were pretty good. They had some fun ones in there, but
did you know that they ended up one of their last policies before they shut down was they wanted the introduction of a 99p coin, so you didn't end up with 1p change. They're going. That's genius.
Genius.
That is genius.
Do you know over in Ireland they don't do 1 cent and 2 cents anymore?
Really?
Or in America?
That's probably all of.
I'll say America. In Belgium, sorry. In Belgium, they definitely don't. They just they just round it up or round it down to the nearest 5, I think.
On that wonderful piece of information I did not know, let's just jump into a pause for a second so you can find out how you can end up joining Project Comedy. Would you like to join Project Comedy? The reality is, it couldn't be much simpler. All you have to do is get on the internet and find your way over to the Project Recce website. That's project, the word project, Recce, as in RECCE.org, O-R-G. Have a look in the upper right hand corner, click on the menu and click on Project Comedy. Scroll down there a bit and you'll find a link that says apply now. That will send an email to one of our ambassadors. If you're even more bored, scroll down a little further and you'll actually see a couple of our ambassadors making tits of themselves on the stand-up comedy stage. Nonetheless, just click on the link, get in contact, and you can be as funny as you want to be. Before we jump into our other policies, serious or not so serious, what other, so we don't sound partisan and what have you, and just talking about the major two political parties, what other parties are you aware of throughout the UK, and especially, I'll take it to you, Gabe, the major parties and maybe the minority parties of Ireland, because I don't think many of our listeners will be aware that it's a completely different structure over there. But which parties are you
Guinness
aware
isn't
of?
a political party in Ireland? Heresy.
No, it's a religion. Guinness is a religion.
Typically over in Ireland, you have Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil. And obviously you have the Sinn Féin one.
so say that again. Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil.
Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil. Effectively, they're like the Tories, Labour.
Is it because the Fine Gael come through and they Fianna Fáil over? Is that how that?
Oh, I like the pun already. Irish politics with puns. So which one, remind me, Gabe, which one's the more sort of like conservative, Tory leaning side of the Irish political equation?
I'll have to check, but I think it was Fine Gael.
So Fine Gael are more capitalist and Fianna Fáil are more socialist. And I'm just looking at Sean's face. He's now buried his head in his hands going, what the fuck is Jay talking about?
No, Fine Gael sounds like you're fingering a girl down the street. Fianna Fáil sounds like you're fingering a horse. I don't know. Oh, God, brain. My weird brain. I'm sorry.
Do you know what? PTSD can lead to amazing humour.
Oh, God.
But I wouldn't recommend starting with that set when you first gig Dublin, mate.
Sorry. I'm sorry, guys.
So Fine Gael are your political party of the centre-right.
Oh, right, okay.
And Fianna Fáil, I imagine they're the more
Opposite.
like Irish
Labour Party, yeah. Okay.
But they believe in the Taoiseach in the Dáil and all them ones.
So you got to love Irish politics because the names they've got for, we've got Prime Minister and Chancellor and what have you. The fact that you've got a president and effectively the equivalent of a prime minister, but they've got much cooler fucking Irish names than we've got in the UK. It's absolutely delightful. There's something romantic about the titles within Irish politics. It's delightful, absolutely.
Irish names are brilliant.
So what about other political parties in the UK that some people would want to call minority or maybe smaller?
Greens.
Greens. So you've got Caroline down in Brighton. So she's been a long-standing Green MP down there. When you end up reading through their policies, it's somewhat hard to disagree with a lot of them. I'm surprised that there isn't more of a Green movement within our political system, especially where we're going with things like climate change, etc., and where it seems to be a policy. Another one I instantly want to mention is the fact of, let's just look at Wales. We've spoken about Ireland. We could also talk about Northern Ireland and the fact that you've got the DUP, etc., there. Wales, it's got its own assembly, and you've got the powerhouse that is Plaid Cymru, which are, I won't call them quite as radical, but they are an independence party. They would like independence for Wales, but they don't go quite as hard as, say, the Scottish Nationalist Party. And then you've got the ogres around the place. Some people will call them populist parties. I call them ogres because I don't necessarily take them too seriously. Things Socialist like Party? Well, no, not so much that. I mean, because they still are working against what I would actually call theology, if you like. I know that's the wrong word because that's religious, but they do have a political ideology, based on Marxism and what have you. But the things like UKIP still exists. You've now got Reform UK, these what seem to be single policy parties that
Well,
don't
let's be
seem
fair.
to...
With the way we're complaining about politics, democracy is working really fucking well.
Why do you think people don't get behind some of these smaller parties and we don't see them more in Westminster and the likes?
I reckon we will now.
Not as popular, not as much funding to promote. They're not seen on TV, so they're not recognized particularly by the casual person. Also, some people are insane.
I do rush to point out that we can end up making it sound a little bit too English, but there's a reason we don't see as many people in the Houses of Commons as you necessarily should, because it is a political stance of one of the parties. Sinn Féin refused to take up any of the seats they win in Westminster. They are officially MPs, but they refuse to take up this. Well, no, it is their official policy. It has been for years. Now, we got a First Minister of Northern Ireland now that is Sinn Féin. But Sinn Féin still will not come to Westminster. You end up with the joke that is the West Lothian question. Why are Scottish MPs allowed to vote on policies that only affect England and Wales, but we're not allowed to vote on policies that only affect Scotland? These are things that
I thought we had an Irish, like a Sinn Féin guy in.
Sinn Féin.
I thought we had a Sinn Féin guy in. Jeremy Corbyn. He was like an IRA sympathiser, wasn't he?
Holy crap! Here we go.
a Sinn Féin guy.
Sinn Fang. Yeah, Sinn Fang. Yeah, the Chinese menu, number 13 on the special. Sinn Fang.
You've kind of me in to serious policy, seeing as I've done my silly one. Shall I chuck in my serious policy?
Yeah, go on.
I've made a mistake, by the way.
What's that?
What?
Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil, they're both centre right, pretty much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to apologise for the Englishman's knowledge of his own political system. We are instantly...
And Gabe, clearly the fake Irishman.
He's been in England so long, he's forgotten his own political parties. So we'd like to apologise to everybody from the Emerald Isle for Gabe being a muppet.
I've only been interested in politics the last year or two. I didn't even know what left and right were.
I still don't. Why don't we clarify that a bit first? What
left
the fuck
right
is left and right politics? I have no idea what that means.
So the further right you go, the more of a Nazi you are.
Okay, so I'll be far right then. Yep, the correct
right.
Left, far right.
And the further left you go, the more of a hippie you are.
What?
So it's effectively a circle. Eventually, you can go so far right, you end up becoming left. So right wing is moving into the capitalist side of life, what we traditionally call conservatives. They believe in the market running things, but obviously that can become corrupted. So you can go ultra right, which ends up becoming a dictatorship in the fashion we saw with the likes of the fascists. So you ended up with Hitler and Mussolini. I can't remember the Spanish guy's name, but anyway, so you could end up going too far in the right direction. The left wing is more socialist, so it's about equality of outcome, equality of income, but you take it to its extremes. That's where you move into communism, and then communism ends up becoming yet another form of dictatorship, where we ended up seeing it with, say, Stalin. The USSR, Stalin. That was completely not what Karl Marx wanted. So that's where you got the left-right wing. Left is seen as
Trotsky, wasn't it? They took over after World War One, or in the middle of World War One, I think.
In the middle of the actual conflict. Yeah. So overnight we lost the Russians and ended up with the Americans joining the war.
Sorry, Gabe had something.
Franco's your Spanish fella.
Yeah. Equally, it's other communist nations people forget about. Cuba, one of the most successful nations out there. With Castro, it had the highest literacy of any country in the world. So sometimes it can work. Sometimes you can end up with something called a beneficial dictatorship. So there are exceptions to the case, but effectively, left is moving more towards social justice, and the right is more towards individual rights and the economy and capitalism running for you.
Wasn't Libya at one point like one of the best places in the world to live?
I'm not 100% sure.
I sure as shit no Burma wasn't, or Myanmar or whatever it's called now.
They were very, very successful in the early days after Gaddafi came in, because as you know, I ended up doing a bit of work in Libya. Very interesting place. Do you know the highest rank you could attain in the military in Libya?
If it was Lance Corporal, I'm in.
It's colonel, full colonel, because nobody was allowed to outrank Gaddafi. So the ranks all stopped at colonel. And you go out there and everybody you meet is a lieutenant colonel. Everybody's a lieutenant colonel. Next to no enlisted men, but everybody's a lieutenant colonel. It was absolute hoot, and they're fixing that. Anyway, so you gave me a nice little bridge where we're talking about some of these smaller parties, left, right, blah, 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 blah. My serious policy, and I'm over-egging it. I'm going, but the first part I'm absolutely serious about. The second part I'm semi-serious about. Overnight, I would change our electoral system. Overnight, we would go to full proportional representation.
Cool.
So that every vote counts, rather than at the moment, only about 40% of counts, and that's being very, very optimistic. Only 40% of votes count. If you live in a safe Labour seat or a safe Conservative seat, you're never going to get rid of that MP, so your vote is wasted. With proportional race representation, that wouldn't happen. The second part I'd do is I'd follow the Australian model to engage people with politics, and that is, it is a legal requirement to vote. In Australia...
Don't we sort of have that now, though?
No, it's absolutely optional within the country. In Australia, you get fined if you do not vote. I believe for people to get involved with it, you need to be charged in your pocket.
Why do I get loads of like papers and letters saying, "Hey, you're not registered to vote yet. If you don't register, you're in fucking trouble." I'm just
because you can lose. So you can lose rights. You can lose rights if you're not on the electoral roll. So, for example, you would not be able to claim things for your council if you're not on the electoral roll. It's pretty much the same as the census. You've got to complete the census. That is legally required. But at the moment, it is not legally required to be on the electoral roll, and it most certainly isn't a legal requirement to vote. I think we should be charged in the back pocket. Stop complaining about the country if you're not doing something about it. I'd like to see PR, and I'd like to see mandatory voting. Tell me off. Tell me if you think I'm being too much of a dictator with that.
No, I mean, I agree, especially with certainly the last bit. I mean, this is why I don't complain about politics, because I don't have a vested interest in it. I don't particularly want to get into those conversations. So I don't. Therefore, when things go tits up, I don't really complain about it. I don't really care. I'm just like, oh, well, that's what I expected from the guys that I would have voted for anyway. Or, for example, I'm just like, I don't care. So... No, I don't think it's realistic.
I heard a beautiful line as we were coming out of the European Union, and it was by a comedian. He went, "Who would have thought it? You don't pay attention to European politics for a minor 50 years, and you suddenly realise you're being left out of the club and you're fucked." It was the fact that we weren't engaged with European politics. We didn't take it seriously. So people thought it was going to be a nirvana just to leave these bureaucrats, and suddenly... What do you mean I can only spend 90 days in my house in Spain now?
Okay, so I, Short of Project Comedy, would like to say that I voted to leave the European Union simply because somebody told me that I had to vote to stay in. Therefore, I voted the opposite, just to piss them off. So out of pure spite, that's exactly what I did. Because I told them I wasn't interested in politics, and they decided to force it down my throat anyway.
And this is why I'm going to sound a bit dictatorial. That's why I'd like to make voting mandatory, because it's that point of you've got to actually make a decision on this stuff. It's, you know,
I wouldn't. You could make it mandatory. I'm voting forever. Fucking, I'll pick random. I'll eeny, meeny, miny, moe that shit. I do not care.
It's that point of, you know, that ridiculous line by Michael Gove, I think the nation's fed up of experts. Really, if I'm going to have somebody operate on my spine, I want a surgeon, not some bloke with a quote on his head, waving around dreamweavers going, I'm going to paint something on your back, a couple of runes and you're going to be fine. No, I like fucking experts.
I would like to point out on this, though, as much as we're giving us a lot of shit off of what I've read and heard, and everyone's always complaining and saying, oh, this stuff's caused by Brexit or whatever. It's not nearly hurt us as much as a lot of the countries in Europe. You know, my parents are out in Belgium at the minute. They're like, fucking hell. When they first went out there, they were like, yeah, we're still at like 300% inflation because you got fuckers left. Because we took a lot of the stuff with us. Just to point, you know, everyone's saying, oh, we're on the shit end of the stick. I'm like, I don't think so. Like, I'm not saying it's a good or a bad thing. Absolutely not. Because I mean, I'm kind of like, well, we kind of just fucked it for both sides. But at the same time,
this is one of the main reasons why politics is such a valid subject for comedy, because there's never going to be a perfect political system. You're never going to have a perfect government. I mean,
you're never going to
let's be honest about it. If you look at the current polls on who's going to win the next election, it sounds like we're going to end up with a dramatic change of political leadership in the country. I guarantee 2 years from now, most of the jokes are going to be about the Labour Party because they're going to be the people in power. We did the episode about punching up and punching down. If they're in power, who are you going to be telling jokes about? Stand by, sunshine. If you are wearing the red rose, we're going to be taking the piss out of you because that's the direction to punch up.
Yeah, and then you'll see in about 2 years, Rishi Sunak will be running around playing his comedy career up.
Can you see it? Open mic tonight. The headliner, our paid act is Sean Murphy being supported. Sorry, I'll do that again. Our headliner is Gabe Murphy. Our headliner is Gabe Murphy, supported by Sean Morris and the open micer tonight.
We nearly did it again. Right, just because I call Gabe Daddy does not mean that my last name is Murphy. All right, like.
But your open micer to start the night is Rishi Sunak. Is it really bad when you earn over £100,000 a year and you got to pay more tax?
I think he earns more.
I can imagine some of the jokes that Rishi had come out with. Hey guys, all them people that you pay to do your shit for you, eh? God, don't get me started.
I'll have to look it up when one of you guys are talking in a second. There was an absolutely amazing Channel 4 program, and it was basically a series of professional comedians from every ilk, every style out there, ended up being good people to mentor to do a stand-up routine. So you ended up with the front man of not the Prodigy. Bez's other half. So, you know, Bez with the man walking forwards and backwards with the maracas. Sean Ryder.
Happy Mondays.
So, Happy Mondays. So, Sean Ryder, dyslexic as fuck, ADHD as fuck. He's given a comedian that he's got to work with to do a stand-up routine. Now, if you know the legend that is Nick Helm, who is alternative as they come, they gave him Baroness Vardy. So Baroness Vardy is she's a Muslim woman.
Oh, okay.
She's Asian descent and a Tory. And Nick sees who he's given. He went, oh fuck, because he knew he's ultra left wing, what have you. He was so impressed by her stand-up set because she was taking the piss. She learned so much, and she's actually said that it's changed her political style now. It was fascinating to watch her go. I've always hated comedians because I thought that all their job was just to take the piss out of politicians. No, their job is to take the piss out of policies. And if the person's a twat, you take the piss out of them as well. So it's what's made her a bit of a love bunny for the news shows now, because Baroness Vardy can now connect to people in such a different way.
Well, I mean, I think what would be good is to do, you know, when people always used to do, because we're all in, ex-military, you have like a big wig officer come down. So obviously it'd be like, fuck, the workplace now needs to be super tidy for absolutely no fucking reason, other than we just want to make a good impression. Okay, yeah. but like we actually still need to work here. So telling you to move that POL over in that corner is stupid because I actually need it to do the fucking job in the first place.
Yep.
You know, well, you just got to move it. Like, are you fucking kidding me? So that always happens, I notice, when any bigwig of any scenario seems to come around.
Yep.
What you should do is just actually make these politicians work on a TV show where there's no other politicians involved, i.e. the local council, and get them to go and work. And then they might start changing policies as they realize that this actually isn't fucking working, and you might need to do something about it. That would be a good show. So you said about this comedy stuff where they do it. Well, just cherry pick. You don't have to be the big boys, but you can have a level of a politician. Why don't you do a show like that? You know, everyone loves reality TV. Fucking people watch the absolute. I mean, the like 9/11 of TV, which is Big Brother. So, like, why don't you fucking do something like that with politicians? People would tune in to watch them actually be human.
Oh, Jesus Christ, would that be the way to run the next general election? We put the leaders and cabinets, potential cabinets of each one of the parties into the Big Brother house, and we have a telephone vote to decide who runs the fucking country. You get more people to vote for it. In fact, sod Big Brother, let's make it Love Island and see if we can end up with a couple
I'm a celebrity.
of
I'm a politician. Get me out of here.
That would be lovely.
I reckon we should decide who wins the seats by fucking MMA fight.
Oh, this is where
That's
I
not
go
my
back
policy,
to
by the way. That's just
the politician. The politician I wish was still about, because I had the great respect for him, and that was dear old Paddy Ashdown, former member of the British Boat Service. If we needed to be led to war, we needed Paddy to be in charge. A man that was special forces in charge of our country, rather than somebody the closest they've ever seen to combat is being in the CCF of their public school.
Wait. But Boris Johnson said he wouldn't mind being a Lance Corporal.
And I said, who would promote him to Lance Jack? Jeepers, creepers. Sorry, that is such a flashpoint for me, because he actually thought it made him a man of the people. And every Tom in the country went, who made you Lance Jack? You've got no idea how our military works. Gabe, do you want to chuck us your second policy?
So I've kind of got like a bit of a two-parter.
Go.
If a politician is found out to be saying a blatant lie, they get fucking paddled.
They probably like it because that's what they probably did at Eton.
Not the way I do
it. they can be eating this dick. That's what they could be eating.
I paddled someone that hard once. He got 2 blisters on his ass.
So
I'm kind of scared that you paddled somebody that hard. I feel like this might need some backstory.
Nope.
Nope. Okay. Excellent. A man of mystery.
So what you're proposing, Gabe, is in the House of Commons, normally when there's a vote, they have to approach the mace that's in front of the speaker. Instead, they've been caught in a lie. They have to present themselves, go prostrate over the mace, and the sergeant at arms drops trow and spanks them with some willow.
Yeah.
You now want, I've got to get it right, corporal punishment for members of the House.
Yeah.
I think that's a lovely policy. I think we need everybody.
That's your
if we did it,
one.
No. If we could do that immediately before PMQs, immediately before Prime Minister. In fact, no, let's have it at the end of Prime Minister's questions. Then it's MP spanking time, and people would watch PMQs to the end. So you can watch a series of MPs getting thrashed across the arse.
To be fair, I think for his absolutely outstanding Brianna Gage, Rishi Sunak needs at least 30 lashes.
Oh,
and I'm not talking about fucking Willow either. I'm talking about like with a fucking blackberry bramble.
A nine-tail.
Yeah.
Oh,
no, my
genuine... Cat and nine tails, because do you know what happened after you got hit by the cat and nine tails? You had to make your own cat and nine tails.
Yeah.
And after you had been whipped with it, if it had frayed in any way, you'd have to remake it and do it again.
No, my genuine one, my genuine policy, I think we should have like some sort of Hunger Games system.
Go on.
Or kind of like a Big Brother thing where we have so many people voting in to just see what politician gets. Oh, you can mix it like the Running Man.
Oh, mate, now you've got me interested.
Right, so you have people voting in, and then like one of them people who selected one of the members and that, they do like a lottery and they randomly pick someone who voted for that politician, and they get to do whatever they fucking want. It's like, I want you to fucking get smashed over the head with this frying pan. Like that. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. It can be a good thing as well. So you can turn around and say, yeah, you know me, I'll make you a cup of tea. There you go.
Yeah, somebody gives a pay rise to the nurses and we send them some Ferrero Rocher.
Yeah.
The ambassador is truly thankless. Yeah, exactly. A cream egg for that minister. And we've actually handed it to them, not thrown it at them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one way you could get people interested in politics.
And then, like I said, with the Brianna Gay thing, the fucking, I'm voting for Rishi Sunak, right? I want him to get fisted with someone wearing Kestis.
I'd be like, right, whatever politician fucks up in the week, like whoever's the biggest, probably, nonce of them all, has to fight either me or Gabe in a fucking MMA match. That'd be it. Because even though I am 5'6", as currently weighed this morning, 57.5 kilos, I fucking fancy my chances.
Mate, I'm just thinking about how the speaker... I'm just thinking about how the speaker get more power now. Because at the moment, the worst thing that can happen to somebody in the house if they misbehave is they get named by the speaker. So if they get named, they get extracted. It's like a sin bin for MPs. Actually, if they get named, there's an octagon waiting in the middle of the courtyard there for them, and they've got to go straight into a grudge MMA fight with one of you two.
Yeah, but hang on. What happens if
brilliant.
The speaker fucks up? Like what happened recently. Maybe.
Yeah.
We should have an extra punishment rather than just, he can't speak anymore. We just move him to another office. Right.
I'm chuffed as well, though, Sean, because now I'm just under 110 kilos.
I haven't weighed myself in years, but haven't weighed myself in years, but I think I'm acting as ballast for my boat. It's the only reason it's upright is because I'm sat in the bloody bottom of it.
I mean, to be fair, you are a prop, so like I don't know.
Sean, are you ready to give us another policy?
Yes. Okay.
So
I have a great policy that's going to be hated and reviled by so many people, and yet it actually makes a lot of sense.
Really?
I would like to reinstate the dog license.
Yes.
Do you know what? You're looking at 3 dog owners. Yeah, violently agree.
I would like to... No, the reason why I would like to reinstate the dog license is because I'm sick to fucking death of people not training their dogs and their dogs just being able to attack me or my dog and go, oh, sorry, I'm calling him back, but I'm not actually going to stand and do anything about it. In fact, I'm going to feed him a treat because I think that's good behavior. Or I'm going to sit and stroke him up high. As a behaviorist, this fucks my fucking head off when people do this with dogs. But
mate, and on top of it, not only are we 3 dog owners, we're 3 assistance dog users.
Yep.
If we could actually have the license back showing that you are a decent owner of a dog, it would make our life so much easier. As I told you, this weekend I was refused access to a cafe bar because I had a dog, and it was literally because the owner doesn't like dogs. And he said, they don't behave in here. And he went, it's a different legal right. My dog is trained in this. If he had actually been encountering people that knew how to look after their dogs, picked up after them, we as assistance dog users wouldn't go through the amount of crap we sometimes do.
So, continuing on. So with the policy, I have several parts to it. It's a well thought out policy. Not like I've been thinking about this for a while and tried to do it, except that would require dealing with people. Therefore,
none of us are qualified.
None of us qualified. Nope.
We can write the policy. We can't implement it.
My social anxiety will not allow me to deal with that many fucking people. Right. So what we do is we grandfather in the rule. Okay. And by grandfathering it in, we prevent people from panic going, I now need to rush and go get a dog license. First of all, we set up something very similar to the DVLA, but for dogs. Because it's a governing body.
Now they've got to have a chip.
Yeah. So that runs with dogs. So You have your dogs, you have your paperwork. Your dog will be chipped. Your dog will be registered to you. Your dog, your details, the dog's details. If you move, that's fine. You get, like a free, if you've moved house like DVLA, you get a free change. You don't just send it away, off you go, all good. Right? Then you've got to grandfather it in. We can't just immediately do this change and let people panic and try and rush to, because otherwise, oh fuck, I've got a week to do it and that's it. So if your dog is born by, let's just say it was 2024, right? Any dog born after December 2024 is required to have a dog license, as in the paperwork with it.
And
whether it's from a rescue, and any rescues that do it, they're required to make you have your dog license before you can rescue the dog.
Yeah,
I understand that might cause a slight delay, but if you give it enough time, as in enough warning for the policy to be enacted, great. Also, any dogs that are born, you would then go back. It's the average age of a dog, about 12 to 14 years. So let's go 15 years. Any dog before 15 years ago, its birth date's 15 years before. You say, right, any dog after 2024 requires a dog license. Oh, my dog doesn't have a license because here's the proof. It's born before that rule came in. Absolutely fine, not a fucking issue. No, it's very easy to tell. It's very easy to gauge. Kind of, I say easy. It depends on circumstances, but this stops irresponsible dog owners. Also, dog owners required to go on a course, very much like a driving license, as in a very bare basic dog behavior course. Also, what to do if your dog gets attacked, how to swap your details, how to fill the form in on the pass, let's just say, to say, hey, or on the dog card to say, hey, here's where I need to go to report an incident that's happened with my dog. Here's the other dog's details, and you've still got the police, you've still got the wardens, etc. You still have stuff like that, but you've created jobs because everyone loves a good job creation. You've created jobs by implementing this new service. You've then increased tax income because you have created jobs. Then you have also started to fix the annoying everybody fucking buys a dog but doesn't actually know how to train it problem. You've also started to fix a lot of the reactivity issues that are starting to happen or become more public in this country. Any dog abuse gets added on, any dog attacks get added on, any your dog's loose, escapes, starts worrying livestock, that can get added onto it apart from the already regulated laws.
I want to add to your policy because what I do is I'm quite happy. December 2024, let's introduce it. I'd also have an opt-in because there's a bunch of decent dog owners out there going, this is fucking brilliant, I want to opt into it. I'd instantly have Hawk registered straight away. I'd be there going,
have Ebs registered because guess what? I know my dog's good. Not because of the fact she's an assistance dog. She's also, what really irritates me, she's my first dog. I'm a kid that grew up absolutely terrified of dogs. This is my first dog, and how come I can train my dog to be A, non-reactive, B, non-reactive to even dogs trying to fucking murder her, and C, more well-trained than pretty much a security dog, as we've beaten in several competitions. Like
of all the policies
we've this
evening, I think this is one we almost are going to put up on YouGov. And go, right, this is the policy that Project Comedy wants. Okay, maybe we're biased because we're all dog owners and assistant dog users. But if Jamie was with us, I know he'd probably be going in exactly the same way. I love that policy. I love that policy. So, ladies and gentlemen, if we do have the leaders of any of the significant parties, if you would like this policy, a small donation to Project Comedy to keep us going over the next few years and maybe get us to Edinburgh next year would be appreciated, but you can place it in your manifesto.
I don't think it's a sensible guy. I think it's a sensible plan, dudes. Just saying.
We're coming to that time where we want to wrap up before we end up having yet another 1.5 hour podcast. So I'm going to start off with the political. I'm not going to call you a political newbie, but somebody that's never been interested in politics. When you reflect on everything we've spoken about tonight, is it two things to you? Is it potentially something you would consider doing in a stand-up routine, or have you got more of an interest in what politics is just by having this discussion?
0 to both of those things. I stand by my original fucking points of that whoever you vote for is a complete fucking liar. So you're voting for whoever you think is going to lie to you the least. I just think you can have all these great ideas, but everything gets diluted because everyone has a fucking opinion. And because of that, nothing actually gets done. Which means it's absolutely pointless to vote and or take any fucking part in it, because no matter what great idea somebody actually comes up with, it's going to get diluted.
Oh, yeah. I get that, but it's also the point of, it's like that crap old joke, isn't it? You know, the bloke's complaining that he's never won the lottery in the last 15 years, and you ask him,
But
well,
he's
how many
never played
tickets
it.
do you bought? I've never bought a ticket. You've got to be in it to win it. Anything we can do to get people involved in politics, I think, is a good thing. But I get your point, and it's a difficult place to enter. It is a difficult place to enter because it is something that gets your spirits up, gets your blood.
I also have no interest in arguing for 3 hours over basically what ends up becoming what's the term? Not mediocrity. What's the term when you're nitpicking at each other's arguments? Pedantics. Semantics. Is it semantics? Pedantics?
Semantics, pedantics, both work.
Yeah. You're just then start nitpicking to try and uncover each other's argument, to go, you see, I got you. It's like, for fuck's sake, who cares? Like, that wasn't the original point. You're just nitpicking just to try and make your opinion more valid than mine.
I love the fact you've just said that, because I think that's one of the things that puts people off politics, that our current political structure, because of the nature of the parties, I hate to say it, I think it's got a lot to do with the way we have first past the post. Our politics is based on being adversarial rather than being collaborative. And if we had a better mix of parties in the House, they'd be forced to be collaborative. So I love that point. No wonder people get turned off of politics if they put on BBC Parliament and just see them trying to point score because they want the next vote, they want their party in power.
And
no,
it's
I
not just
violently
them,
agree
it's their
with them.
supporters as well. It's
Absolutely.
people that are out with their political opinion. That's great, all well and good, but like
again, I hate to use the comparison, but at least we're not as bad of Americans where they won't speak to somebody because they voted for a particular president. That's
mental.
That's just ridiculous. Gabe, reflecting on what we've done in this episode, is it something you would toy with putting into a routine? Are you slightly more interested or less interested in politics from what we said?
I am thinking that I should basically run the world. No,
a dictatorship under Gabriel Murphy.
It's not a dictatorship because I'm not a dick.
Oh,
although I do like taters.
So, what is the feminine of that? Can you have a vaginery of policies? I don't know how it would work. A vaginership.
Quim goat cheese ship.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are an equal opportunities podcast. If you can think up a way we can have a pun to change dictatorship into something with the female anatomy, answers on Twitter, please, because we don't, well, now called X, because we are an equal opportunities podcast.
I'm putting it in there for a Quim goat cheese ship.
What would you say to any veteran coming into stand-up comedy and going, I just want to avoid politics? Would you say yes, no, or encourage them to have a look?
So you can do what you want, but at the end of the day, you're taking an hour out your quiver there. If you do, it's something that you can have a laugh with, bit of fun with.
How about you, Sean?
You're in the same boat as me, buddy, and you could definitely do lots of humor. Politics is a tiny little smidgen in the comedic universe. You could do politics. Sorry, you could do comedy about anything. Fuck all to do with politics. It's very easy. I do it.
And this is what I love about our team, because we've all got our own views. I would turn around to somebody and go, I'll go back to that first lesson that Jay Sodegar gave us. Comedy is all about connection, and politics is something that connects us all together. It doesn't mean you have to be political. It doesn't mean you have to be an active voter, but political decisions impact everybody's daily life. We all experience things like the elements of, the cost of living crisis, gas bills, how much does it cost you to catch a train somewhere? These are all led from politics. So it may be an interesting route to actually connect to your audience on something that's relatively light. And you don't necessarily need to frame it as a political gag, but it's something they can relate to. Gentlemen, it's been an absolute delight. We haven't hopefully bored anybody by being overtly political and going into the depths of what politics is all about. This was a politics light episode. I've really enjoyed it because it's made me think about a lot of stuff, and I now want to set up a petition for dog licenses based around our non-political members policy that he would bring in if he was PC. Gentlemen, it's been an absolute delight. Sean, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you very much. Just to point out, if anybody, we're going to do a GoFundMe to do a putsch down Westminster.
Oh, God, no. And Gabe, as always, mate, always a delight to have you.
I'm ended up on a fucking list, I tell you.
And knowing Gabe, he'll be on that list with you. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed it. Please get in contact with us, because as we close off the episode, as always, we'll end up showing you links where you can follow us on social media. We'd love if you follow us on Spotify for you to answer the poll we'll have against this episode. And please tweet us. We'll give you the links at the end. So, as always, until next time.
The government killed JFK.
If you want to see what we're actually like on stage, please have a look at our YouTube channel. Search for Project Comedy, Veterans Doing Stand-Up, and look for our black and white logo that's exactly the same as the one we use for this podcast. You can also now follow us on Twitter. We can be found at Proj Comedy. That's at PROJ Comedy. And me, Jay Saunders, I can be found on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter if you look for Comic J Saunders. That's all one word with the letter J in the middle. Comic J Saunders. Thanks again to everyone that's taken part in this episode. Until next time. Thanks for listening to the Project Comedy Podcast. Please support our veterans as they continue their comedy journeys. To find out more, including gigs our veterans are doing, please search for the Project Comedy group on Facebook, where you'll also find links to Project Recce, the veterans charity that makes Project Comedy possible.